Welcome back to the Real Estate Huddle, episode 6. We are going to talk about how you can make the most money on your home by prepping your home properly, whether you're selling tomorrow or in 5 years. You want to update your home continuously so that you can enjoy the improvements. The worst thing, well, not the worst thing, but the most common thing that I hear from people that we help on the selling side is, man, I wish I would have done this years ago so I could have enjoyed it, yes. Right? They joke about that, or they joke about, wow, it looks so good now, maybe I want to stay here, right? And so it's really awesome. 100% of the people that have done improvements to their home say that they want to be in their home more after those improvements are made. And so it just, it makes it more inviting and you get to really enjoy those updates. But it's not just that. There's a financial impact that comes to this, right? And the financial impact is huge for certain items. And so that's what we do is we guide people through the process and just let people know, I don't know how many walkthroughs I've done with people that aren't even selling anytime soon, just to coach them through like updates that they could do to their home to get the most money. And there are updates that you can, times 3 or 4 year investment. There's others that just don't pay you back hardly at all. And so we're going to start there. We're going to talk about myths. Okay, the great myths of
so you keep returns. Saying myths. He doesn't mean baseball. He means myths.
Myths, yes.
Myths,
yes.
Myths,
not myths. Myths. So here's the biggest one. All right, and
I'm sorry. Do you guys remember the Muppet Show?
Yeah.
So Kermit talking about if you touch a frog you get warts, and he goes, it's a myth, and then someone reaches out from the side and says, yes. Get it?
Okay, so leading right into myths. There we go. Kermit the Frog here. We're going to talk about the two biggest ones that I see all the time, and it's because people are just misled because there's some salespeople out there that all they want to do is make a sale, and they will lie through their teeth, or they've heard this stuff from their manager or from someone else. That's just not true. It doesn't play out. Okay? Here's the first one. And I might offend some people, but I'm a little unapologetic about this because it really irritates me. Okay, windows and solar people.
Oh my gosh.
The salesmen are through the roof with their estimations of what this window project or solar project is going to make you. And it's just not true. I've seen it play out over and over and over again. And I have nothing against solar or against getting new windows. I think it's great if you're doing it for your own comfort, or if you just want to be good to the environment, you want to do your part, that's great. Do that. But we're strictly talking about financials here. And when we're talking about financials, window and solar type work typically tends to have about a 15% return on investment, not 50, 15.
15.
Okay. And the cost, the savings in utilities, it tends to take about 8 to 10 years to get the money you spend back on utilities.
Long-term investment.
Don't let those salesmen tell you that it's just this ginormous 200, 300% return for windows and solar.
Hopefully they ask you how long you plan to be in your home, because if it's 8 years, 10 years, you're going to see improvement at the monthly expense when you put solar in, but don't do it to sell your home.
I'm not saying don't get solar, because actually, if there was ever a time that made the most sense to get solar, it would have been this year with energy costs and the way that solar is coming about. It would make most sense this year, but you're only getting 15% return, and it's more of a longer
longer shout out to my brother and sister-in-law. They combined getting solar panels on their roof. They paid for them outright, meaning not a lease, combined with buying an all electric car. So they are covering all their costs plus selling a certain amount of back. So it can be done. But the point of this,
it's a big initial
this podcast is if you're getting ready to sell your house, the return's not there.
Yeah. And here's why it's a myth, you guys. It's simple. It's common sense. If I have a house that's for sale at $500,000 and I've put $40,000 into some sweet Renewal by Andersen windows that
great windows, by the way.
Because I got a mailer in my mailbox that said I get 2 windows free if I call them today and get 6 windows, but I paid $24,000 for those 6 windows, and then they sold me on the whole house, so I ended up paying $45,000. That that plan.
Sounds like it happened.
I've
to
had them
someone
over to
we
my
met
house
up.
for about 3 hours of
Have
their
you been holding
presentation.
on?
And
Have
sat
you been
through
holding
that.
on to a grudge for a while?
No, it's just they
You
want to
could've
sit
just
down and
said
give you the
no.
whole spiel. I'm like, just give me the price and then get out of my house. and I don't have patience for it. I apologize, but
I don't blame.
but here's the thing: is that buyer, because you have new Renewal by Anderson windows, are they now going to pay $540 or $580 if it's 200% for your house?
Yeah.
The answer is a solid no.
Big no.
They are not going to do that. And it has been proven over and over and over again. So I don't care what a window says. I don't care how much they put that heat lamp up to the window and test the
efficiency.
yes, the efficiency of that window.
of it.
I am not paying triple the price of what a normal double pane window guy would charge me.
But the efficiency, Landon.
I know. And the brand.
Hey, Anderson, they make
get
good
it,
windows.
Right. And some things I only pay the brand for, right?
Yeah.
Like cream of wheat, for example. I would never get the Kroger brand.
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started on cream of wheat.
But windows, a good solid vinyl window
Quaker Oats as well.
that fulfills the needs in your house. That is what you're after. We do not want to pay double, triple the cost just to have a brand name that really is not going to come back to you. I'm sorry.
And I can't tell you how many times I've had sellers and even buyers. So for sellers, like they'll say, "Yeah, we've got a quote for windows," and I'm like, "Stop right there. Do not do that if we're going to sell your house.
Yeah.
Leave the quote in the front door.
Yep.
In the front drawer.
We're done there.
Yeah.
Let's put that money towards much better updates.
Yes.
Much better updates.
And we'll get to those.
Yeah, we'll get to those in a second.
The ones that count.
And with buyers, you'll have buyers that will come into a house and the windows are trashed.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, "Holy cow, these windows look terrible." And I will inform them. I say, "You are exactly right." And the reason being is because their agent did a good job of informing them not to replace these windows.
Yeah.
That's just the fact.
Yeah.
If you see brand new windows in a house, it's typically because they did it for their own personal reasons, or they went totally against their, better judgment or better advisement. And some people they do it because they have the money and they're getting new windows, and that's great. That's totally fine. Do it. And like we said, it's a long-term investment for most people.
Yep.
It just does not make sense when you need to sell your house. There's so many more things that you can put your money towards that'll get you so much more.
Well, and it's painful when you finance it over time.
Oh my gosh.
Over a
Yeah.
long time, and now you still owe all that money, and now you're selling, you got to pay it
I'll
back.
go
And it's
on
even
record.
worse-
Right.
I've done my windows in 2 different stints, and I love my windows.
Yeah.
But I did them for me. I didn't do them for
Yeah.
Right, and the
For
energy,
your own comfort.
the energy
Yeah.
efficiency does help.
Yep.
When it comes to solar, if you're leasing your solar, okay, I got to be careful. I have really good buddies that are in solar, and they do a really good job, and that's great. But when it comes to if you go under contract with a house that's leasing their solar, I've had more headaches getting everything transferred to the new owner on that lease. I've had more headaches with solar companies than I've had with any other transfer of anything on the closing side.
Some are better than others, and we're not going to mention any names on Tesla, but some shouldn't be in the solar business. They should be in the car business.
Stick to the cars.
So,
Stick to the
I
cars.
Like-
spent the last meeting that we had in the office was focused on the difficulty, contractually speaking, properly capturing an existing solar lease. It's very easy to mess up, and
I'm not going to name drop one. I really want to because it was a nightmare. But if you own
as
them
long
out,
as you do it while you're coughing, it's fine.
no, it's gonna be. I can't. No, it's okay. It's all right. I'm gonna keep that one to
Can't sell
myself.
out your boy.
Yeah. No, it's not even theirs. Theirs is just fine. But anyway, let's move on. Let's
okay, that was
but-
1 and 2.
But here's the last
Yeah.
thing. Last thing is with solar, if you have just common sense is typically your solar lease or payment is going to be the same cost as what you would pay on your utility bill most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. From what I've seen. And so it's a wash typically. But people do it for the credits, for the tax credits, typically, right? And verify everything with a CPA. Sometimes those are available, sometimes they're not. But but those credits are the reason why people tend to do solar. Either that, or they want to do good to the environment and they want to save energy. And I think that's great. And so for personal needs, that's fine. I'm just expressing my opinion on what I've seen over and over from the financial side of things. And there are certain buyers that just have an attitude against solar, and they don't want it. And they feel like that's someone else's purchase and debt. That's not mine.
Fossil fuels,
you're
baby.
Not passing that on to me.
Natural gas.
So that's what you run into sometimes with some solar challenges.
I will add to that. When I said it made the most sense to get solar this year, I do know that there have been people who've bought solar and they have shown data that shows, at least in Colorado, our state, where we get a ton of sun. We try to keep that a secret, like we talked about a couple episodes ago. But the lease charge versus the energy cost it helps a little bit right now this year, just because energy costs, they skyrocketed. I don't know what the percentage of those energy costs look like, but I do know that the people who did get solar this year did notice a difference between their energy costs before and after.
It may
solar.
make way more sense in the future, for sure.
In the future, that's right, and that's what I'm saying. But it's not really significant enough for me to get on board yet. So
It's like half our
right,
episode
we'll move on.
the two bads.
So
What about the goods?
minimal return items. Okay, so we always know when we're working with. It's funny, people that are more linear logical in nature and more mechanical minded, they get really excited about updates to HVAC, and furnaces and ACs and water heaters and plumbing and electrical and that sort of thing. And those things are all necessary. They're great. And if you have a unit that is dying, absolutely replace it. It's going to help you get through inspection.
very nice to see as buyers too.
Yeah.
It's when the buyers see those, it's kind of
It's
a
a
big
relief.
Deal.
Yeah.
It is a big relief.
It is. Now,
But
the question is a buyer willing to pay 100% of the cost of a new furnace or a new AC or new electrical work?
a seller or a buyer?
Buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typically the answer is no. They're willing to pay about 15% of that cost. And so again, a lot like solar and windows, those mechanical items in your home, that's not what pays you back. And so if you have a furnace that's still working, I don't know that I would proactively replace that unless you're worried about that going out in the middle of winter and you just want to be safe, right? But you may want to ride it out and then take your chances on the inspection and hope that we can negotiate for you if we're working with you to get you through that inspection. Okay. And so that's our advice there. Let's talk about some of the bigger return items that are more exciting. We actually, we've partnered with a company at RE/MAX called Curbio. And Curbio is a cool company because they'll come in and they'll do a lot of the work ahead of time. So if a seller says, I would love to do all these repairs that you're instructing me to do, but I don't have any money to do them. Curbio will come in and their contractors will perform all the work, and then they'll just do an invoice at the settlement statement and charge the seller at closing. And so
Really good program.
kind of a nice concept if you don't have that money up front, which most people don't. Most people are living paycheck to
not
paycheck
in this economy
in
right
America.
now.
So it is a really nice tool that we have in our arsenal, and if you can make 3 times what you're spending on these items, it's a really good thing, and we'll instruct you on how to do that. So let's talk about some of those items that will give you the greatest return on your investment. Do you want to list?
Yeah, do you want me to read this list?
Yeah.
So actually from Curbio's website, Curbio.com, the number one return on investment home improvements is kitchen refresh. So
Probably should have gone Dave Letterman and gone backwards. No?
do you want me to go backwards?
That's all right. That's all right. We'll just keep going here.
You're probably right, Chad.
Yeah.
But we're going to start with number one.
Number one.
Now that's out of the bag. It's out
Yeah,
of the
now
bag.
it's out of the bag.
First the Muppets, now Dave Letterman. Shut this guy up. Got it.
Kitchen refresh. The key word being refresh, and that can mean a few things. So when they're talking about kitchen refresh, it's not about a gutting and to the studs redo. We're talking about the small little things. So number one, painting cabinets. That's a big one. Not new cabinets, because new cabinets are expensive and you don't get the return on new cabinets, but you do get a good return on painting your cabinets. And we have a lot of really good contractors that do that. Second one, the hardware on those cabinets and what am I trying to say? Cabinets and we'll just say cabinets. All the hardware, and then appliances is the last one. So kitchen refresh, it's not big. I would also add, would you add countertops? It's a kind of a bigger project, but countertops can go a long way as well.
Yeah. So painting cabinets and doing the refresh stuff is like more of a 300% return on your investment.
Their average ROI is 377% nationwide average.
And I would say counters is closer to 200%. That's why I didn't make the top 10, but it's still a great investment. And depending on what you're getting rid of, because if you're getting rid of an eyesore, like pink Formica or something like that.
The little white squares that everyone in Highland Ranch
The squared tiles.
Pink Formica.
Then you've got a much better return because you're getting rid of something that people hate and they despise. And when we walk through homes with buyers, they're like, oh, I hate those counters. I hate all those grout lines. And so if you can go to a quartz is the only way to go right now, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There's some soapstones and some other cool things.
Corian's making a comeback too.
Yeah, quartz. I would stick with quartz right now.
Quartz.
You got to
for the time being,
granite, buddy.
You just don't want to do anything else because the market loves quartz right now. It's just a pure look. A lot of the granites are a little too busy.
We're putting quartz in next week. We did it.
Yeah. The granite's old now, which is funny, but the kitchen is the main focal point of the house for almost everybody. So buyers love seeing the refresh kitchens.
Kitchen and great room is where you spend 80% of your time, your waking hours in your home.
100%.
So those are big areas.
Okay, next one. You want to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, with an average ROI of 348% is refinished hardwood floors. So keep in mind, these first two are not major reconstruction projects. These are refinishing. These are refreshing. So
keeping costs low.
When you have hardwood floors, and this does not include like replacing hardwoods. This is actual hardwood floors that you can sand down and restain or refinish.
Mm-hmm. Trying to remember the last time we did that, but like magnitude, that's $5,000-7,000 to
less.
refinish.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the house.
Okay.
But I mean, on your average 2,000 square foot house above grade, you're probably looking at right around 3,000 to 4,000 to do a refresh. Yeah,
especially when you have that beautiful orange oak. Yeah, that we all love to see.
Typically, cost from your experience to paint kitchen cabinets?
Typically around $100 per opening. So drawer or cabinet
per opening. $100 per opening.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Write that down.
Yeah. So, like I said, about 350% around that range return on investment, and we've got, once again, we have some really good contractors that do those refinishes that look just incredible. They look so good.
They do. And if you're going to do a stain on the hardwoods after refinishing them, right now, kind of that lighter Swedish looking wood is a really cool way, kind of an IKEA look. Is what a lot of people are liking to keep things light and bright. Mm-hmm. The grays are still in, but lighter, a lot lighter grays. So keeping them light is better right now, or mid-grade color is also good. But I try to stay away from darker floor finishes if you can, just because of where styles are trending.
I'm a big fan of hickory.
Yeah.
That nice hickory look.
Yep.
We were talking about this. We may branch over to that, what we were talking about before we started, Chad, because we brought up a really good point. But let's get through this real quick. Yep. We may go over time a little bit. But the next one, they talk about minor fixes. I'm going to kind of move on past this. I don't necessarily agree with that. Not that they're wrong, because this is more of a nationwide average. We're talking more, a little bit more local to Colorado and Denver. Roof replacement, they say, is a really big one. And the great thing about roof replacements is typically you can have an adjuster come out, you pay a deductible, and you get a brand new $20,000 to $50,000 roof with a UL4 shingle, hail resistant, really nice. Most of my buyers love to hear that they have a new roof, and it makes the inspection go really smoothly for the most part until you run into something else. But 288% on the ROI for roof. You guys have anything on roof?
That's probably from the deductible, from the cost of the deductible.
Yes.
My guess. Because there's no way a buyer's paying 20, 30 grand.
That's a really good point. Yes.
For a roof.
On the deductible.
From the cash out on insurance.
Correct.
Claim.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yep. Thank you. Okay. So the next two, about 280% return on investment, nationwide average, is flooring. And that's both carpet. So new carpet. And we're not refreshing, not refinishing. We're brand new carpet and brand new hardwood flooring.
Yeah.
And I would also include LVP flooring, so luxury vinyl plank. That's what LVP stands for. It's a really popular flooring right now. Looks just like hardwood, but a little bit more hardy.
And they look so much better than they used to. They used to be like the old Pergos and stuff, and now they're beautiful floors that are
the hickory
really,
colored
really nice.
LVP stuff right now. That's what we want to put in our home.
We changed
right
up
now.
in the condo. We just made it lighter.
Yeah.
Otherwise, same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Very water resistant. So if you have kids or animals or anything in the house, I mean, it is really nice to not have to worry so much about the water dripping from the fridge or whatever,
and soaking up into the
shoes dripping or whatnot. So yeah, that's a great point. And not all flooring projects are created equal either. It's style is so important, you guys. So that's why we're always here for you. If you have if you'd like to email us or text us and ask us what about this floor? Would this be good?
Mm-hmm.
We're always happy to help. And the reason why flooring is so important is because it's all about the pictures these days. People look at pictures and video online for listings more than ever. And flooring, probably more than anything else, it just makes photographs look awesome.
Oh man,
online.
Well, and let me add to that too, because carpeting, we have a lot of people that they don't know what color carpet or what style of carpet, the length of the fiber should like. So we have a couple really good contractors that will literally bring samples, go through it with you. Mm-hmm. I would say stick to the nice gray colors. If you go too light, then you have risk of showing everything that you tread into the house. If you go too dark, you dim the house up a little bit. So there is a nice happy medium gray style carpeting and you can, there's long fibers, there's patterned, there's textured carpets that you can get that are in style right now. And
texture's still very in.
Yep.
Kind of a mid length is in or shorter, but the long yarns I would say to try to stay away from. It looks a little more dated.
shag is extremely in right now.
Yeah, right. Avocado shag.
That was a
The
joke.
only guy alive in the 70s.
For those of you who don't know my personality, that was not serious. Okay, next one, and our last one. Sorry, our last two. We'll go with the first one is tile installation. You don't see a ton of tile in Colorado outside of bathrooms. Mm-hmm. And bathrooms, you can, tile does matter, unless you're going to go the LVP option with bathrooms. Anything specific on tile, Landon?
I just think you can have a lot of fun with tile now. You can do a lot of different colors and shapes, and you go into Floor Decor or one of these places, and it is so fun. All the things that you can do to brighten up and have some fun in bathrooms. And so there's a lot of options there, and depending on what colors you choose and if they're on point with styles, then you can do extremely well with a tile project. But understanding that bathrooms don't get a full-on bathroom remodel is about a 70% return on investment. But if you do a bathroom refresh, which could be painting the cabinets or just changing the vanity lights and floors, then you can make 250 to 300% return on your investment.
I'm glad you said that because I missed that one. That was before tile. So we had our flooring, and then next came bathroom refresh. So I'm glad you hit that one and you're right on the money. 256% nationwide on the average ROI, and then
That's
tile
the
installation.
same knobs, lighting sconces.
Pretty similar to what you do with your
faucets.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Yep. Outside of painting cabinets.
Yeah, the minute you start moving showers and tubs around, there goes your margins. It's gone.
You don't want to be
So
gotten out.
you do that for your own enjoyment. I did that in my master.
Oh, yeah.
Or our
100%.
primary bathroom when we lived in our house for 9 years. We did it and enjoyed it for a long time. So make your bathroom what you want if you're going to be there for a long time. But if you're thinking about selling in the next few years, you do things a little differently. For sure.
And then last one, landscaping. Oddly enough, 251% return on investment, which I think now more than ever has been the case. I think a lot of people are really liking their outside spaces. Curb appeal does matter. Yep. There are some things specifically that, when it comes to landscaping, you do want to be cognizant of as far as whether it's rocks or mulch, whether it's how much grass you have in the yard, whether it's xeriscaped, whether, you have bushes, trees, things like that. you can get into the weeds a little bit there, but you do want to. It helps when your curb appeal is up there, and people, when you get up to the house, you want your buyers to say, "Wow, this looks awesome on the outside."
Yeah. On 300 plus days of sunshine in Colorado, it's a killer time to be outside most of the year.
Yep.
And enjoy that outdoor company. So and if you create a motion, do something that is either really fun for, maybe the kids that are looking with their parents at homes and they see like a trampoline, in-ground trampoline, or they see a basketball court or like a turf area putt-putt type deal, or a fire pit, or built-in, structure, kind of a stone structure with like seating and stuff, or a covered patio. Like there's just cool things that create emotion outdoors that people really dig and that they're willing to pay 243% for.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, it's a big deal here in Colorado, and it may not be in other parts of the nation, but locally it's a big one. So
What was that? The house you sold not too long ago with incredible 2-story deck in the back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
people like their decks out here too.
Those are awesome. Yeah, and it was back into a park too, so they took full advantage of all 3 levels because it was a walkout.
I
So
think they
had
did that.
3.
We literally, we look at it. We saw that before we did our deck, so we had deck
Yep.
envy for a while.
Yep, definitely.
Big decks.
Yeah, set a record in the neighborhood because
know you
they had done that. Into it.
I know we've got a few minutes left. Do you have anything else that you would say? Because I want to get your feedback, Chad, on or not feedback, but just your input on what we were talking about earlier, if that's okay with you. I know you were on a call, but pertains a lot to what we were talking about. But before that, what do you think? Like, do you think that list is accurate?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's really accurate. And the other things I would add to that are door hardware throughout the house. If you have brass door hardware,
That's a big one.
Like
Yeah.
changing to oil rub bronze, which is like a black,
Nickel.
right? Or brushed nickel.
Brushed nickel,
are the
yep.
2 most popular right now that are still in. So going to that is going to be about a 250 to 300%.
I'm seeing
return.
flat matte black hardware as well as a big one.
Yep.
On some of these
Totally.
farmhouse style homes.
Yep. And the other one is lighting. Just lighting throughout the house.
Lighting,
This, this modern lighting look with the glass is really, really cool. It looks awesome.
And those
compared to-
interesting filament light bulbs.
Yep.
Those are
A lot of those.
yeah,
What
a lot
about
of
just
those.
front doors in general?
Yeah. I think having a front door, it's so funny.
Says a lot about your home, doesn't it?
Well,
This is
Jasmine's trademark on our
Did
front
she
doors
paint
is
your door yellow?
Oh,
hey,
yeah, she did.
I personally love it.
Yep.
Jay loves it too.
And this
she's
time
like,
we got approved by the HOA, so we're feeling good about things. But yeah, yellow door.
they're like, there's one other house that has a yellow door as well, so we might as well approve it.
Right, yeah.
I asked that seriously. We've got a wooden door that's very dated, and the first thing I'm probably going to do is paint it versus
is-
sand it down or getting a new wooden door.
I can't tell you how many times I've had an initial buyer appointment and with a couple, and the woman that's there, a lot of times she said, I've always imagined having a red front door, and I'm like thinking, you can paint it after you move in, but like she was looking for a red front door. Like that was
Move
like the
in
thing
ready.
that like made her, it was calling her.
$23 for a
That made her
gallon of
think,
paint.
this is my house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was like,
Yeah.
if I can find that place, that's a red front door. And so, I don't know. The red front door, I've seen, there's just a fresh coat of paint on doors can really make a difference. Garage doors, changing those out and doing something a little more custom with some windows, some natural light that looks modern. That can be a big impact item too on the curb appeal and just make people think this is my house. Looks great.
A lot can be said about the front door.
Yeah,
A lot can be said.
for sure.
So Chad, I know at risk of going over time, I think this is still a really important question to answer, and Landon, you'll have some good input on this, but what was that? What were you asking?
You're going to remind me our conversation. You've said it 3 times.
Well, I've
What were we
got,
talking
so
about?
remember, so right before you were talking about, and we talked about it throughout this episode, but I think it's important to mention for sellers, and it's, you were asking, why, or what's the difference between, certain colors versus the ones that I want, or certain updates that, I should do versus the ones that I think are better. And along those lines.
Yeah.
So
the general gist is what you would choose to do for your own reasons, may not be the best thing to do when you're trying to appeal to the broadest audience.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's often a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
It is.
So my thoughts, and you may feel the same way, you may feel different, but for those who are selling their house or planning to sell their house, before you do anything, first of all, do your research on what the current trends look like, what people are buying, what people are really attracted to right now. And a lot of that research can be done through your realtor. Lean on your professionals. Lean on your real estate professionals, because they will tell you exactly what to do, exactly what color to go with.
If they're good.
If they're good.
Yeah.
That's yes. So what we're trying to say is lean on us.
And it'll be right if they're good.
It'll be right. But like you have the things that are, selling the most, and your realtors will know what to do as long as they're good. And make sure you listen. Right now, lighter, brighter shades are what's in. Lighter, brighter woods are what's in. Mahogany over hickory. You're probably going to want to go hickory. Dark blue in a bedroom versus light gray. You're probably going to want to go light gray. Yeah. Despite what your preference is, you want to cater to the buyers in that market and cater to the trends of that market. Am I right on that?
Yeah, definitely hit the majority and things will go well. And by the way, we love to do walkthroughs with our sphere, with our clients, and we'll do that as a free consultation, walk through, no obligation at all. Take our time to go out and coach you through a game plan and help you understand what is it that's going to be the best return on investment for your specific home. And we love walking through homes. It's great, and we love giving that advice. And so whether you're selling tomorrow or in 6 years, give us a call, and we're happy to do that as a free consultation for you at no charge. So that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 6. We will see you next time. So if you have enjoyed what you're listening to and you'd like to hear more, make sure to press that subscribe button so that you can not miss out on any more episodes that are coming up. And also check out all of our contact information is below. You can see us at the dreamsmithteam.com to look up more information about our team and our history and all of the members of our team, and see contact information that you can reach us if you have any real estate needs.
See you next time.